Pertaining to these cases in Vermont, on 5/26, again yesterday, May 25th, 2021, a state trooper again knocking at my door due to a domestic violence call. I'm not the caller. He had no business at my door and never spoke with the witnesses. All is on audio record. I request name and badge ID. I will be adding to the lawsuit filed in federal for harassment. I also request body cam coverage as the perpetrator was never charged, being Kevin Bickford. I believe this is misconduct, police abuse of power, retaliation, harassment, and lack of services, violation of rights, policy, and procedures. For those purposes, I request a full investigation into yesterday's incident and report it. At 109 Railroad Street, Island Pond. Why did it take over an hour for response? You see, right there is proof of acknowledgement to the Vermont State Police that there was a report made 5:30 in the morning. Kevin Bickford was abusing my daughter, and that's when Jacoby ended up with a bump on his head. Why did Jacoby end up with a bump on his head? Because through the doors you could hear, and then from Brianna's statement and testimony and conversation, Kevin had knocked her down. Not only was it made statement by Brianna, but it was heard on audio, okay? Audio record. And so why did the state of Vermont go to Brianna on May 26th with an abandonment, not an abandonment, but a protective warrant, and take her son from her? And then she was charged. Why was Kevin not ever charged for abusing Brianna? And why has he still not been charged for the abuse and the misconduct that he committed in the false reports he wrote and called in complaints that were false to the Vermont State Police from February right straight through until June of 2021, leading to Brianna and I being frivolously and falsely charged. Brianna being put in an involuntary medical hold and shot up with dope drugs ordered by the state's attorney, Vincent Aluzzi, who was a conflict of interest right from the beginning. Because why? Because we had filed lawsuits. And the fact is, the mail started coming up missing, and they can ask the United States Postal Carrier, Janine, that there was no mail coming through to Island Pond in regards to the lawsuits we filed, and then they dismissed them. But in the meantime, they started harassing continuously myself and Brianna, making Brianna take medications that she rightfully did not make, and they made her very ill. She had a miscarriage. She also had 2 heart attacks. Isn't that right? North Country Hospital. Isn't that in her medical records? I know it is, because she has a copy of it, and so do I. So why is it that I also have a copy of the records from Brattleboro Retreat that prove that she was diagnosed wrongfully? Isn't that what led up to the malpractice intent lawsuit? Isn't that what leads back to Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services before, when they were abusing, neglecting Brianna's emotional and medical needs, and leading to her physical disabilities, as well as her medical and emotional and mental status, okay? That's what happened here. And so they continued to give her wrong medications, and it was discussed. And then they continued to order more wrong medications to be delivered, and that was discussed. And it's also on audio record and mentioned in court records, isn't it? The state of Vermont and all of you involved. So with that being said, and Desiree Leo, knowing that I was overhearing everything because Brianna made her aware where she was and who she was with, as well as the Vermont State Police, because they knew, they're the ones that contacted somebody to make sure that I was contacted for me to save my daughter's life. But I'm the bad one? I think it's time that we look at the judicial branch in the system. Vermont State Police, right straight back down through Essex County, the sheriff and the deputies, the Essex County Courthouse, State's Attorney Vincent Aluzzi, the Attorney General T.J. Donovan, all of the staff at Northeast Kingdom Mental Health Services in Derby, Vermont, including the Records Department and Human Resources Department, because they're very well of every bit of this, including the fact that the doctor that they wanted me to see after frivolously stopping disability for PTSD from domestic violence, being beat on by and verbally and emotionally and mentally abused, to include by A police officer? Yeah, that's a fact. So with all that being said, it's no wonder they're doing what they're doing. But I want you all to look up, only if you want to. That's my suggestion. And it's an opinion that you might really find this interesting. That in Island Pond, Vermont, if you look up what is happening in Island Pond, Vermont on Amazon, it's going to be a book written about girls. A girl that had happened to her, the same thing that's happening to me and Brianna. Look at the cover of that real close. And if you can, read it on Kindle or in the library. Oh, wait, the government's got the library shut down, right? Oh, I forgot, sorry. Anyhow, the other one that you can look up, that's very interesting, is The True Story. That's on Amazon. The author is from Vermont. She was abused by these mental health hospitals, and the same ones that Brianna's being abused by. Maybe even the same role players. But if you look up her book about Vermont State Hospitals, it is a true story about what she went through. It includes the FBI and the CIA and how they experiment with this medication, and it keeps these patients feeling like they need to continue to follow only their instructions. It changes their whole demeanor, just like drugs on the street. It makes them not want help from the ones that love them. These are all proven scientific facts that this is what these medications and these experiments are doing. And my daughter and myself, it's fair to say, in my opinion, and from what we've been through, yeah, we're a product of that. So why is it that the sex human trafficking case out of Orlando isn't being followed through with? Why was there not ever an advocate? Well, because they're all friends, correct? And like I've told you before, when you call for assistance, now I'm going to give you another example. Here in Portland, a lady knows my situation. She has an organization. It's called, for ladies that have been through human trafficking and sex trafficking. And again, they tell you they want to help, but you know what? They don't have any acknowledgement of what's out here. And they have no knowledge of what to do to help somebody in a situation like this. And the advocate and social case manager that they had me meet and speak with to try to explain to her what's going on out here in the streets, she had no idea. So why the fuck is she an advocate for anybody? This is why y'all need to pay attention. Start listening to your mothers, your grandmothers, your aunts. Not your uncles and your brothers and your cousins that don't know a fucking thing other than how to abuse people. I'm just saying. And if you want a list of examples, I got plenty for you. And I can validate all of them, okay? So that includes Justin Crazy Train Rolfe about abusing his sister, Brianna. You know, he's the glorified kickboxer from Maine, Golden Glove. Yeah, that's him. He resides somewhere around Fairfield, but I got it in Brianna's medical records, and she spoke of it again on the way home. All of the people that have abused her in her past, and how her father was on the phone. I could hear him loud and clear. He was asking where I'm at. The fuck is it to him where I'm at? But the fact is, Brianna even mentioned to him, stop asking about my mother. This isn't about my mother, she told him. This is about her. This is about me. This isn't about my mom. Leave my mom out of it. But he doesn't do that. So, knowing that her own, on paper, father, because he insisted on signing, when the sister, because he's too messed up with his new wife, they left his girlfriend for, a few months ago. And, yeah, that's the kind of life he leads. It's no wonder. It is no wonder he's not helping his daughter. Birds of a feather flock together. And all these males out here that I've mentioned, they're all abusive to me or you or somebody in one way or another.